makes up your vehicle. Not you, but your vehicle. Because remember, it's nothing but information. You are more than information. You are cosmic conscious. So we just talking about the things that make the anatomy of your body. This is actually inside of your DNA. Now, if you come out perfectly healthy, it's supposed to be that your DNA keeps repeating the same thing and sending out these RNA, which is a replica of your DNA, which goes inside of the ribosome and then birth the new cell. But what is happening where you come into sickness and disease at? Well, this is what's happening. Everything that you eat, family, I don't care what it is. Like it's this coconut that I'm drinking. Guess what I'm drinking inside of this coconut? I'm drinking my phosphates. I'm drinking my phytonutrients or my photons or my minerals and amino acids. When I drink these things, it goes into my stomach. When it goes into my stomach, it has to break down. Once it breaks down all these complex sugars and all these complex amino acid proteins. It breaks them down to simple amino acids, or it breaks the polysaccharides, which is the complex sugar. It breaks them down into simple sugars. That is what my body is taking in by way of my gut. Nothing else. Even if we're going to say that you have amylase that's produced inside of the mouth, and it can go straight into the bloodstream, and the bloodstream will carry it to the cells. That's true. But the gut starts at the mouth. Everybody think the gut is just this. This is not just the gut. The entire gut is this right here. This is the entire gut. Notice that the entire gut starts in the mouth. Then it goes down to the esophagus. Then it passes the cardiac sphincter and goes into the stomach. And then from the stomach, it comes out. And then it goes into the duodenum. And then from the duodenum, it goes to the jejunum. From the jejunum, it goes to the ileum. From the ileum, it goes to the cecum. The cecum goes up into the ascending colon, the transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon. You see that? All the way down to the rectum, out to the anus. Your gut literally covers every space of your body other than your legs. And the particular crazy thing about this is a lot of people are not doing enough studying. When you truly get into true study of the gut, the way the gut started off in the embryo. An embryo is basically what becomes a fetus. The fetus becomes an infant. The infant becomes a baby. That baby grew up to be me and you, right? Now, if you look at the embryo is right when it hatches out of that egg, basically, and the egg starts turning into a human-looking like structure. But before it turns into that human-looking like structure, notice they have a tail, gills, and everything, showing you that true evolution is in the womb of a woman, of a black woman. Evolution don't exist outside of the womb. True evolution, where we start changing and looking like reptilians and looking like seahorses. I mean, if you look at that fetus in the embryo development, you go through so many different types of transformations in a womb, it will blow your mind. And we got plenty of knowledge on that as well. But notice what happens. The first thing that literally gets developed inside of the fetus, inside of this embryo, is the nervous system by way of heartbeat and the central nervous system, or what they will call this primitive gut tube. Now, this primitive tube is literally a part of the nervous system, but this primitive gut tube is right on along the nervous system. Them are the two things that grow first if you actually study embryology, right? Notice that the gut grows right alongside itself of the nervous system. And everybody wants to point out the central nervous system being the brain, but we never want to talk about this primitive tube that is there existing when this brain and this nervous system is being created within the embryo. The primitive gut tube is being created too at the same exact time. Now, the crazy thing that I find when studying this stuff, notice that the primitive gut tube, it fits the whole lining of the embryo and of the fetus. It fits the whole lining. And the more and more the fetus grow, the more and more this tube grow. The tube grow longer and longer. Now, guess what? That tube breaks down into three parts, right? You have something called the foregut or the foretube, right? This will be from the mouth all the way down right here to the cardiac sphincter before it goes into the stomach. Now, guess what grows from this gut tube inside the embryo? Something called lung respiratory bulbs. So you telling me that the lungs are a byproduct of the gut? Yes, it is. Something called the thyroid gland. So you telling me the thyroid is literally an extension of your gut? Yes, it is. Without the gut, guess what won't exist? Your lungs would not exist without your gut. Your thyroid would not exist without your gut. We can keep going. The thymus gland. Oh, hold on. Ain't the thymus gland is what deals with my T cells? Yes, it is. So you telling me you would not have a thymus gland without the gut? No, you wouldn't. And look, we are not even all the way down here. We just dealing with the foregut. or what you would call the forebrain, which means the beginning to the gut, which start in the mouth. Oh, damn, I wouldn't have a tongue either. Isn't a tongue a part of your gut?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have a tongue without your gut. You wouldn't have lungs without your gut. You wouldn't have a thymus gland without your gut. You wouldn't have a thyroid gland or a parathyroid gland without your gut, because all of it is growing from this ectoderm and mesoderm skin inside of the embryo. Now that's amazing. So that means if anything is wrong with my my lungs, then what problem is that, y'all? That would be a gut problem. Anything wrong with my tongue, like my breath is stinking, what would that be? A gut problem. Even speech problems have something to do with the gut. Huh? We can go down. Anytime I have a thyroid metabolic process going on, where my thyroid is hyperactive or overly active, or hypoactive, guess what it's dealing with? The gut. Because the gut, this primitive tube that was created when you was an embryo, when you was moving through the fallopian tubes and finally hit on that cervix wall to start growing, right inside that placenta, that's the thing that created all these other organs. It was all from the gut first. Now, that's just the foregut. We ain't even talked about the meso or the midgut yet. Now, the meso or the midgut, guess what that give rise to? Your intestines, things like this. Not only your intestines, but your spleen, your pancreas, your liver. So hold on. The liver is a byproduct of the gut. Yes, it is. Without the gut, it will be impossible for you to grow a liver or a gallbladder or a pancreas or a spleen, because these organs grow from the gut. Look this stuff up if y'all think I'm lying. So if you have a spleen problem, guess what you have? You have a gut problem. If you have a pancreas problem, guess what you have? You have a gut problem. If you have a liver problem, guess what you have? You have a gut problem. We can keep going because there's other things that the guts create. Now, did you know that this same primitive tube that is the gut actually creates your kidneys? Y'all ain't want to hear that, because that's all y'all keep talking about is kidney filtration, because that's directly connected to the adrenal glands. Oh, man, I forgot the gut created the adrenal glands too. Do you want to keep going? That's just the mesogut, or what they call the midgut. So we already explained the foregut. We just explained the midgut. There's more things I can talk about there, but we're going to use that for the seminar. And then there's something called the hindgut. The hindgut starts from right here and goes all the way down to the anus. Guess what that creates? Yes, your vagina and your penis, the gonads. So hold on. All of my glandular highway is produced, and it's a byproduct of my gut. That's deep. That's deep. Now we see what's happening with sickness and why Hippocrates said that all disease start in the gut. It makes more sense. And he ain't even know this information. He just knew when you change your eating and you start eating better, then I notice disease leave. Well, why is that? That's because the only way to true DNA reversal or to true cellular regeneration by way of the DNA is through the gut. Because the whole gut, this entire gut makes up your whole body. Notice that. It literally starts right here and ends at my anus. That covers most of my body, don't it?
Yeah.
And then look, this gut tube creates all of your major organs. Notice why all of these things are a part of the gut. Only thing they missing is the lungs. Everything else is here. So before we start breaking this down, type in some nines if y'all understand me.